It would help if I put myself on stage, wouldn't it? Good day to you, Jim Lair, joining you live from Dietary, Nicaragua. Let me get us going on Instagram here. Actually got some really good news today, some exciting news today, and we are live on Instagram. It looks like I'm going to be able to get fiber here where I live in Dietary, which is great. That will have, the internet's not terrible, but it would vastly improve the quality of my videos and my live streams, and also my upload speeds. And my upload speeds here are okay, but they sometimes take a long time. I have some people that are trying to help me, upload things for me behind the scenes, which helps. So, but it'll be great when I'm able to do higher quality videos and audios. Obviously, that would be, I'm trying to live a simpler, more authentic life. So there are sacrifices when it comes to that. Let's jump right back into the topic. I know you've got a busy day, and we're going to keep this super short and simple. That's one of my main goals, is to be simple, concise, and to the point, and not flood you with lots of information. We want to make it simple and concise for you, easy to follow. Breaking down barriers, a major flaw in the health and fitness industry. So we've got all these camps in health and fitness. We've got like vegans and carnivores, and we've got like the low carb people, we've got, the performance people, the bodybuilders, we've got the quantum people. We got people like, all you need to do is get strong. You need to get ultra flexible. You need, like all these different things are being presented as like, if you get enough sun, it doesn't matter what you eat, all that matters is getting strong as you can, or, this is going to fix your back pain or that. And it just comes down to marketing. I understand people's needs, or peptides. Like the answer is HRT, the answer is peptides. And it all comes down to marketing. Like for me, I've worked with a ton of people. There are certain things like helping women get into strength training is one of the things I've kind of specialized in. But if you want to make a lot of money, you have to be able to solve a specific problem for a specific person. And that's how you scale, right? And so you've got these people that are, the veganism solves a specific problem for them. And so they think it's going to solve everybody's problem, or carnivore solve a specific problem for them, or getting outside solve a specific problem for them. And that's great. And they're very passionate about that, but rarely is it one thing. I'll pick on the quantum world at first. There's this big kind of thing like, get rid of the EMF, get outside, get your light environment right, and you can pretty much do whatever you want. Well, what if you create, you go and you live, and I've done this firsthand. So you live in a place where there's I've lived somewhere where there's no electricity, no internet, nothing, zero EMF, right? And, outside every day from sunset to evening. Within 2 weeks, I was miserable, absolutely miserable, because I had no social connection. In order for me to get rid of the Wi-Fi and the phone and electricity and all of that, I had to isolate myself so much that it just destroyed my social connection. And social connection is a huge part. And I see people that are like this with their diet. They're so strict about their food that they end up isolating themselves. They don't go out to dinner with friends anymore. They don't socially interact. And when they do, it's really awkward, and they create a lot of stress around their diet. And there are people that need to clean it up and be ultra strict for a certain period of time. But the vast majority of people, that can cause a lot of issues for. There are people that do wonderfully well on a vegan diet, particularly if they live an outdoor lifestyle and they're not eating a lot of ultra processed, high processed foods. But there are people that use the vegan diet to get themselves in a better place, and then they go back to a more balanced approach. We are omnivores. Same thing with carnivore. There are people that use carnivore to get themselves in a really good place. And then, I always tell people, look at your metrics, look at your markers, look at your sleep, look at your blood work. For me, look at the Oura Ring data. If all of a sudden your data starts going to heck, maybe you start to need, I deal with a lot of people who have been low carb keto for years, and they start going sideways. They had great results for a little while, and then we had to tweak things a little bit, and we've been able to improve their outcome. It's the same with training. Like, yes, getting stronger in the beginning will help, but what happens if getting stronger takes away from other movement qualities or other fitness qualities that you need to be balanced and healthy? There's a reason why powerlifters don't dominate the NFL, because there comes a point where absolute strength becomes a liability, right? You sacrifice a lot of your mobility, your ability to move, especially if you're a skill player. And there's always going to be that exception. And so people tend to push exceptions. And there are going to be times when you need to develop certain traits and different characteristics. So the big thing is making sure you don't get married to one particular thing. We will look at principles. That's why I love my 5 fundamental habits is get outside 3 times a day, morning, noon, evening. It's going to help your sleep. It's going to help you, I think circadian rhythm is a foundation of your health, but that doesn't mean that if your circadian rhythm is in order, nothing else matters, right? That's just part of the pie. It's a big part of the pie. And I think it's a reason why most people are struggling today, because they just don't go outside at all, eat a protein at every meal. Can you do that if you're a vegan, vegetarian? Yes, you can, but it makes it a lot more difficult to get the high quality protein. You have to eat more calories essentially. And with modern supplementation, it does help, right? If you want to be vegan, great, knock yourself out. I just think, read The Vegetarian Myth. If you want to be a vegan for ethical reasons, the unfortunate thing with modern industrial farming, unless you grow it all yourself or you're buying from a local farmer, you end up killing more animals by being vegan than you do by just eating meat. So read the book, educate yourself. Probably, we'll get lots of hate comments, and that's totally fine. I'm not good with that. Same with the carnivore. Like, we are omnivores. We generally, the only people on the planet that tend to be strictly carnivore are Eskimos, and they live in the Arctic, and that's the only thing they have available to them. When they do have berries and such and fruits, they do eat them, right? And so you'll find that a lot of people that do carnivore eventually, particularly if they move to the tropics, will end up eating fruit at least, or adding, some sort of different things in other than just eating meat. I would encourage you just not to be ultra religious, like a zealot, and your health markers are getting worse, and you're gonna live or die by carnivore or vegan or vegetarian. Let your markers, let your performance judge whether what you're doing is helpful or not. Same with training. There comes a point where getting stronger is great, and then there comes a point where you need to be able to move as well. So fitness is about being well-rounded. If you're a sumo wrestler, you're going to need certain characteristics. If you're a high jumper, you're going to need certain characteristics. Swimmers need different characteristics than other athletes. So there's no real one size fits all. And that's the big thing about the fitness industry, is everybody gets in these camps. And there's so many different factors involved in your overall health and well-being and performance. It's rarely one thing. So keep an open mind. I have a men's group, a men's over 40 group, if you'd love to join that, and we can discuss, give you guidance. I have a ton of experience walking through things with people, making sure they got the low-hanging fruit, and then basically tinkering based on my experience. I've got a women's group, the Vitality Sisterhood, vitalitysisterhood.com, vitalitybrotherhood.com. Both groups are totally free. I have a women's coaching group that goes over like how to get women into strength training. And the cool thing is that not only do we strength train, but we also work on some of the other attributes like explosive power, athleticism. We work on those things once we lay a good foundation. And the men's group, I have a coaching group on there that's more designed. It's like a 4-month overhaul where we basically reset the entire system and get people going in the right direction. Of course, you can just join either community. They're completely free if you want to learn more about that. I'd love to see you in there. But thanks for joining me today. I hope you keep an open mind. I'm looking forward to getting a better internet connection so I can have higher quality videos, higher quality content. Make sure the clips will be then higher quality. I can also record these videos at a higher quality resolution. So I love being able to record this stuff outside. But a big part for me is like, what I've learned in the last year is that, I love living in Nicaragua. It's great. I live a more outdoor lifestyle. The cost of living is wonderful, but the impact on me not training people in person because my gym didn't work out, and the impact of being isolated from, like, I don't speak the language. I've got friends here, don't get me wrong, but I don't have the connections like I did in Kentucky or even in Florida. I'd say it's a slight net positive, but even though I'm near the equator, I'm getting plenty of sun, I'm outside, I live an outdoor life, it's a wash. It's not moving to the equator is not the panacea of health that a lot of people will convince you that it is, particularly if you don't have a good social network. It's very stressful. So don't throw all your eggs in one basket. Keep an open mind. Understand that humans are multifactorial beings. There's a whole spiritual side. There's a stress side, particularly stress I see as a huge factor for most people. It's not just one dimension, it's multifactorial. So have yourself a great day. Keep an open mind, ask questions, and don't be afraid to experiment. But make sure you got at least your 5 fundamentals down. You're walking outside 3 times a day. You're getting the lights off at night. You're eating a protein every meal. You're drinking high quality water, and you got good community. Once you have that foundation, then we can start tinkering with, you need a little bit of strength training, you need a little bit of Tai Chi, you need a little bit of maybe you're playing some pickleball, whatever. We need to do different things. Everybody's map is going to look a little bit different based on whether you're just trying to look good and feel good or you're trying to push performance. But keep it simple. Start with the foundation and then experiment and tinker. Keep an open mind. And there's a season for everything, right? Keep that in mind as well. Have a great day. Make sure you get outside today.